What is up, everyone? Today I'm going to be discussing why Link monsters aren't the end of Yu-Gi-Oh! And why they're not necessarily good. Okay, so first, a major reason why I think Link monsters aren't very good is because they take away from the game. They limit the game. So for example, a deck that can summon like Quasar Dragon right now is going to have a really hard time summoning Quasar Dragon with Link summoning monsters. Link monsters, just because of how Links work. First, you're going to have to tribute your monsters to make a Link monster, and then if you're going to want more than that to summon a bunch of Synchro monsters, you're going to want to either destroy your Synchro monsters and then revive them, or you're going to want to keep on destroying your monsters, making more Link monsters. But the main problem with this is that now you're making a deck limited to what it can do rather than just letting it be what it was before. So you are essentially taking away the ability to summon Quasar as smoothly as it could before. And the truth is, Quasar's already hard enough to summon, and now with Link summoning coming out, it's going to be even a harder thing. But all this said, Link summoning won't be the end of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I don't think it's really gonna make people I don't know. I think people are just gonna adjust to it eventually. I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to Link summoning just to see how all my decks work with the Link summoning mechanics and which decks actually need it. And it's going to help me think of different ways to use those Link monsters. Now, a problem with that is that if there's not any Link monsters that work with your deck, then that deck's kind of screwed if it wants to use extra deck monsters. So that's kind of a downfall. But the good thing is there are a lot of decks that don't really play off the extra deck and play more off just the cards in your hand, maybe like a ritual deck, or like a tributing deck, a deck that you only need maybe one extra Z on the field, anything really like that. But the problem with that is, you're taking away so many decks. All the pendulum decks are going to be hit really hard because they're all special from the extra deck if you do that, and Link summoning is going to make it way harder, and it's making it so you can't really even play a pendulum deck. And I see a big problem with this, because if someone just barely got into Yu-Gi-Oh, they're like, oh, this is really fun, I can't wait to play my new pendulum deck or whatever they want to play. And then when they see Link summoning, they're going to be like, oh crap, now I really can't do that. And it's kind of forcing you to play certain decks. It's just going to make everything a lot harder. So say if you want to play a Synchron Extreme deck, because I know I did a deck profile on Synchron Extremes and Ignites. Both those decks are going to be a lot harder to play with Link summoning. So for someone who got just barely into Yu-Gi-Oh, they're going to be really discouraged that now they can't play their favorite decks. And I know I'm kind of discouraged that I can't play some of my favorite decks. Now the good thing is I still can play some of my favorite decks, but some of my other favorite decks, like the Synchron Extreme deck, the Morphtronic deck, which you both summon big Synchro monsters, I can't really see myself playing those decks as much because of Link summoning. Now, another bad thing about Link monsters are, if there's going to be a staple one, it's going to be super expensive. And so it's going to be hard for people who want to play any deck with Link summons if there's only a couple staples and those staples are super expensive. Now, I'm sure as time goes on, it will get better. But certainly at first, the best Link monsters are going to be the most expensive. Now, before this is still a problem where the best cards are always going to be expensive. At this time of recording, the Diagram Field Spell card, I forgot what his name was, is super expensive right now. And Ash Blossom is super expensive right now. It's just these, and I understand Ash Blossom's a really good staple hand trap. And a lot of decks are going to run it, so you're going to want to, if you want to play competitive. But the thing is, a lot of people don't play competitive, and maybe just like playing with their friends, or maybe playing with their locals, not that much, but just kind of. And not everyone uses meta decks. So the bad thing about that is if you don't want to spend a bunch of money, they're kind of making you spend a bunch of money if you want to use link monsters, or you're just gonna have to work your way around link monsters and get decks that don't use link summons. So yeah, it's gonna be kind of a problem for a while. That I feel like. I also feel like a lot of link monsters are going to be like really high rarities at first. I know in the Code of the Duelist there were a couple commons link monsters, but those were very archetype specific. I believe all the ones right now that are in Code of the Duelist are archetype specific, which is kind of frustrating because, I mean, if it doesn't work with your deck, it's not going to help you. Even when pendulums were introduced and all these other things were introduced, like synchros, XYZs, they always added to the game, and you didn't ever actually have to buy them. Like, nothing was making you buy them. So say if you're like playing a deck that didn't run synchros anyways, so say if you're like playing a hero deck and like synchros came out, you didn't need synchros to keep on playing your hero deck. But the problem is if you want to play like a Morphtronic deck that's trying to summon Quasar, you kind of need a good link monster. And I don't really know about the link monsters that are out right now, but I have a feeling that none of them would really work with them. Anyway, so all this said though, I don't think it's going to be the worst thing. I think the Yu-Gi-Oh players are just going to adapt to the link monsters. Maybe they're going to find new decks that don't use extra deck monsters that much, or maybe can get around link summoning. And I mean, and then people are still going to have fun with those decks. I really don't think it's going to be the end of Yu-Gi-Oh, or there's going to be like this huge riot, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who hate link summoning monsters. But I mean, that's another point. You really, when you're playing with your friends, you don't have to play the link format. You don't have to play with link monsters. You can pretend like link monsters never happened and just play with some of the newer cards. But honestly, that's not as fun as playing the newest thing. Like, I always enjoy playing with my dad and playing the newest ban list. I like playing the newest cards. I like playing the newest rules and all that great stuff. I don't really go to that many like places to play with other people. I'm still in high school right now, although that ends in like a week. But yeah, so before you like get your pickets and riots and jump on the hate bandwagon that link summoning has brought, just remember that you can always adapt and you can always find a different deck to play. And I know it kind of sucks right now that a lot of the decks are going to be rendered useless, or at least crippled a lot. You can always find new decks, and I've been trying to think of new ways before Link Summon even comes out. But if you were a new player, or if you have any people who are going to start playing Yu-Gi-Oh and want to learn, I would probably suggest don't teach him until Link Summoning's out, because you don't want to like show him all of Yu-Gi-Oh and then Link Summoning come out, and then they'll be disappointed like everyone else who's been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for a long time. They'll be like, oh, this is stupid, now they're taking away from a bunch of stuff. If you teach them after, or you teach them with Link Summoning monsters, then I believe they'll have a more enjoyable time because they won't know any difference. But anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed that video, and if you have any like opinions on Link monsters, and even if you think they're absolutely stupid and they're gonna ruin Yu-Gi-Oh, just leave them in the comments below. And if you have any other opinions, or how maybe Link Summoning is gonna help the game, because I know it probably could help the game, but yeah, just leave them in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't be too shy to leave a like. I'd really appreciate it. None of my videos get that much support, Not very many people watch them, but it is really nice when I see it like on my video. It means a lot to me. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a good day.